Hello, everybody. Now, before I start this live feed, right, this survey, this poll was paid by Uber, right? So they pretty much control this poll. Uber releases poll showing support for CEO Dara Khosrowshahi's benefits plan, right? The benefits plan he has proposed for November. This is what they are pushing for. Yes on 22. This is what they want in their yes on 22 package. And they claim through this poll that the drivers are fully behind this benefits plan. I also want to let drivers in neighboring states, whether you're in Arizona, Florida, Texas, Colorado, doesn't matter where you are, that if this passes, this is pretty much what will be coming your way in 2021, right? Because all the states are looking at Uber and Lyft, how they're going to handle this, what are they going to do, what is going to be set into law, and then, believe me, the other states, the other cities will chime in and try and adopt this type of language. Even foreign countries will try and look at the California plan if it goes through in November. But this here gives you a great idea of what is coming your way. So Uber in a fierce fight in California to continue treating drivers as independent contractors. On Tuesday, will release a Benenson Strategy Group poll finding support for a new benefits approach outlined in New York Times op-ed by CEO. Remember, he said, I am the CEO of Uber. Rideshare Tricksters in the house. Good to see you here. I'm good. Getting ready for the wedding. I've got to push this in quickly, and then you're probably not going to see me for a few days. Been working very late. I'm glad that you're alive, and I look forward to hearing the entire story. Right? I couldn't quite make sense of that one video. It was rather confusing to me, but I will touch base with you, my friend. So what it says is that drivers and voters overwhelmingly support Uber's new, this is their poll, right? They say this, Uber says this, Dara says this. Drivers and voters overwhelmingly support Uber's new independent contractor IC plan. And you're not a true independent contractor yet under the law, right? So they like to use this word independent contractor pretty easily. But the fact is, under the law, you are not a true independent contractor. You have certain elements that an IC has, but you are not a true independent contractor. And I like the way they say the voters overwhelmingly support Uber's new independent contractor plan. So are you telling me, Dara, are you telling me, Uber, that you speak for those 30 million people? You've surveyed them all, and they overwhelmingly want this. Good luck. So I've got Jason in the house. How are you? Dan's in the house. Marco Lugo's in the house. Jimmy Upshot Echo, Rideshare, Tricksters in the house. Dan's in the house. Joey Driver for you, Idaho. Cool Genuine Phil. Omar's in the house. Rick Nelson is in the house. Douglas is in the house. Thank you, Rideshare Trickster, and David Turner is in the house. And we have New Zealand in the house. Welcome, New Zealand, right? Lyft released a similar poll. Let's jump straight into it. This is where the juice. So this is the Benenson Strategy Group paid for by Uber and Lyft, right? To the interested parties from Mitch Markle, Benenson Strategy Group. And I want to know, Mitch, how much did they pay you to say this? How much money did they pay you, Mitch? Greg Strimple, also at the GS Strategy Group, dated August the 25th today. Findings from our recent survey of likely 2020 voters and app-based drivers. This is what they want the citizens of California to believe in. And if this is adopted, believe me, the other states will look at California and follow suit and implement a similar model. Uber press contacts hey, here you have a Uber. Do you have any beef against Uber? There you have Wing at uber.com, Matt Wing or Kayla Whaling at uber.com. Email them and tell them either how wonderful they are or how much they suck, right? And then Benison Strategy Group, press contact, press at BSGCO. The GS Strategy Group press contact. I'm gonna email them this video. Okay, I am going to email them this video and give them my opinion. So about the strategy paid for, conducted by Uber, right? Uber has proposed changes to state laws to give app-based drivers benefits and protections. And remember, they're only doing this for California. They couldn't care a continental damn about all those other states because they're under pressure here in California. So they're trying to like sort of semi-dance and be, you know, okay with the law, sort of trying to appeal to Javier Becerra. Hey, we're making these changes and look, this is what the voters want, right? Danny Naranjo says, we took a poll, we support you. Thanks, Danny. We have our own poll, right? We have our own poll. And nobody had to pay for it, right? It's actually a poll by the drivers for the drivers. Along with a number of corporate commitments to improve the quality of independent work, Uber engaged 2 independent and well-respected research firms, Democratic-leaning Benenson Strategy Group and Republican-leaning GS Strategy Group, to come together in a bipartisan independent research project. Dan, thank you. High five. Thank you for the 5. Thanks, Prof. Missouri pandemic payments, new money in 7 to 8 days or less for Missouri drivers. Good. And I hope that money ends up in your accounts very soon. Not only for Dan in Missouri, but for everyone, right? And I appreciate the update. Thank you, Dan. That's awesome. So they have these 2 strategy groups, Democratic and Republican strategy groups, come together to do this in a bipartisan independent research project to explore the needs and concerns of app-based drivers, their attitudes about Uber's proposal, as well as the voter perspective on the issue. Guess what? Paid for by Uber. So they can't like write a nasty report. They got to pretty much kiss huge AWS and provide something that Uber is happy with, that they can put out to the press, right? We're not stupid yet. Benenson's strategy group. Come on, man. Methodology between July the 10th and July the 18th, 2020, Benenson Strategy Group and GS Strategy Group conducted online interviews among 1,002 drivers with Uber in the United States. So, okay, why would they be conducting 1,002? Here we go. Here's a big flaw already. Why would they be conducting 1,002 driver surveys with Uber in the United States? Those 1,000 drivers should be in California, right? They should be in California. So that report right there, Mr. Wing, Mr. Markle, Mr. Strimple, that is so flawed. If you are going to survey 1,000 drivers in the United States about a California bill. Wow. Major flaw. Defined as those 18 years or older who had driven with Uber or Uber Eats in the past year, and 1,300 likely voters. Defined as registered voters 18 years or older who say they are likely to vote in 2020. Now, those 1,300 voters, they have to be California voters again, right? So the key findings. Drivers and voters overwhelmingly support Uber's new independent, written by Uber, paid for by Uber. Drivers and voters overwhelmingly support Uber's new independent contractor IC plan. And By the way, when they sell you on the fact that you're an independent contractor, you are not, because you cannot choose your destination, right? You cannot truly rule your own rates. If they're only doing this to please AB5, right? And the moment this bill is through, the moment yes on 22 is through, they will retract that, right? And I'm gonna mark my words. You go back to 60 cents minimum. You are not going to have your multiplier, and the money possibilities are over in California. So, but hey, that's my opinion. Rideshare Trictor says, got to run, my friend. Love to you and your wife. Thank you. Likewise, love to you and your wife as well. Talk soon. Drive on. And if you haven't subscribed yet to his channel, go and check it out. Right? He was in apparently someone was shooting at his car, or I don't know the real story. I got to hear it from you. You can share it with us if you want to. So they say that they overwhelmingly want this independent contractor plan described below that allows drivers to continue to work as independent contractors, maintaining the flexibility and freedom of working independently. That I agree on. That gives them access to benefits that today are only available to employees under existing labor laws. So here it is. Listen up. 82% of drivers support this plan, which offers access to certain benefits, while prioritizing the flexibility that brings them to independent work. 88% of drivers agree that this plan would benefit them. 40% strongly agree. Voters overwhelmingly support the policy plan, and it is broadly supported across party and geographic lines. 3 in 4, 76% of voters support the plan, including 78% of Democrats, 75% of Republicans, and 74% of independents. 72% in the Northeast, 76% in the Midwest, 75% in the South, and 79% in the West. 74% of those in battleground states. Why the FUCK? And this is an absolute crock of SHIT, complete shite. This is a California issue, right? So they should be interviewing people here in California. This bill that they're trying to pass right now has nothing to do with the Midwest, right? With the Northeast of America. Nothing. This is happening in California. So it is so skewed. It is very, very disappointing that they would even release something like this, honestly. Plan description shown to drivers and voters. This plan would combine the flexibility of independent contractor status, which you don't have, with some benefits and protections typically associated with being an employee. This plan would not make drivers employees, and therefore they would not be entitled to all the benefits and protections of employment, but they would receive more benefits than they currently receive as an independent contractor. As they currently receive as an independent contractor, right? So you are surveying people throughout the United States, calling them an independent contractor, right? Listen up, Benenson's group. This is where you effed up big time. You are referring to these 1,000 people that you surveyed all across the United States, calling them independent contractors. But did you know that the people in Texas and Florida do not have the right to choose or decline a trip, do not have the right to set their own rates, a multiplier like in California, right? So you've completely missed the target with your announcement here, Dara, Uber, and analysts here of this poll. Completely missed your target, because to turn around and call these 1,000 drivers independent contractor where they truly do not have independence to set their rates, to set their destinations. Yeah, they semi have that in California, about 2/3 of the way there. Why? Because AB5 has put the pressure on them. But there's no AB5 in Texas. There's no AB5 in Massachusetts. There's no AB5 in Florida or Colorado. So this survey is so far removed from the truth. That's my opinion. right? And they failed miserably in my eyes because they're using this word independent contractor loosely, very loosely, as if Floridians, Texans, New Yorkers were all independent contractors. Guess what? They're not independent contractors. They cannot set their own rates, their own multiplier, deny trips without having to fear retaliation and deactivation. So when presented with three options, employment, current IC status, and that again is a lie because you're not an independent contractor currently in these states, right? Or a plan to maintain the flexibility of IC status with access to certain benefits. 85% of drivers chose the plan or the status quo, with only 15% opting for employment. This proposed plan to enhance independent contractor status, they use this word very loosely and very often, is a better alternative than either of the options currently available to drivers. 89% of drivers agree this plan is a better alternative than forcing drivers to be employees, and 82% agree it is a better alternative than remaining independent contractors without benefits. Similarly, 84% of voters agree this plan is a better alternative than forced employment, and 85% agree it is a better alternative than the current independent contractor status without benefits and protections, right? Okay. Paid for, created by Uber. The bill created and paid for $110 million by Uber. So they're pretty much controlling the content. You following me? While this plan may not be a cornerstone issue for politicians, their position on this matter does have sway for voters. And drivers and voters believe that both companies and the government should play a role in shaping this plan. 77% of drivers are more likely to vote for a representative that supports this plan. See, now they're trying to put the pressure on the politicians. While, and this is subliminal fear marketing towards the politicians, Democrats and Republicans. By the way, this is what they want, and if you don't do it, you're not going to get the vote. That's what they're trying to say. 77% of drivers are more likely to vote for a representative that supports this plan, while 85% are less likely to vote for someone who blocks it. We shall see. Drivers believe corporations and the government both have a responsibility to modernize the employment system. 88% of drivers believe the government should remove barriers preventing drivers from receiving benefits while they are independent contractors, and 86% believe rideshare and delivery companies should work to remove these barriers. 79% of voters are more likely to vote for a representative that supports this plan, while 71% are less likely to vote for someone who blocks it. That's just basically telling the voters, you better get in line with us or we will turn the voters against you. Plain English. That's what these strategists are trying to do to voters. And again, I say Benenson's strategy group, or whatever you call, that's BS, my friend, that fear marketing. Slap, right? So 82% of voters agree that rideshare and delivery companies need to step up and change the employment system so gig workers are better protected. Voters also believe that the government should remove barriers to enacting this plan, 81%, and that the plan should be encouraged by the government, 78%. Similarly, in 2020 battleground states, 79% of voters are more likely to vote for a representative that supports this plan, and 70% are less likely to vote for someone who blocks it, right? Setting the stage. I see Robin's in the house. How are you? Can we flash Derek? Okay, remind me at the end. I'll flash him, but I want to get through this here, right? There's just a few pages. When given the choice of being an independent contractor or employee, I like the way they word it, as if they as if they have given you true independent contractor status. Bullshit. Absolute BS, right? The vast majority of drivers prefer to maintain their IC status, what they believe to be an IC status. 69% of all drivers and 66% of drivers identifying as full-time prefer to be classified as an independent contractor rather than an employee. In fact, when given the choice between receiving benefits, the employees typically receive like health insurance, workers' compensation, and paid time off, and being able to maintain schedule flexibility like being able to drive when and where you want. 77% of the drivers say flexibility is more important than receiving benefits. And I agree. That I agree with, that 77% would want the flexibility. But just because you have the flexibility to drive when you want to doesn't make you an independent contractor. Again, the people in Texas and the people in Florida and other states cannot set their own rates. They are not making $92 in 25 minutes. They're not making $266 in 1.5 hours like we are in California, because we brought in AB5 and put the pressure on Uber and Lyft to treat us more like independent contractors. So the wording, the misleading language in this is shameful, right? And it's a big stain. If they call themselves a major strategy company or a polling company, it's a big stain on them, because you are not giving a true representation, right? And it should be in California. I have no idea why they're trying to put this independent contractor stamp on Floridians, on Texas, on New Yorkers, on people in Jersey. It's wrong, my friends. Drivers are not looking for a 9-to-5 job. I agree with that. The flexibility of driving is a huge draw, and rigid schedule and structure doesn't work for them. I agree with that. These are elements we want to see in the new plan, right? 86% of the drivers say a reason they chose app-based driving was to have flexibility in their schedule. 71% say this was a major reason, and 86% of drivers agree that they would no longer be able to drive if it didn't offer a flexible schedule. 80% of drivers say the ability to schedule their work around their family, health, or education needs is a reason they choose to drive with rideshare or delivery apps. I agree. Family obligations are important for a large proportion of drivers. 36% of drivers have children under the age of 18, and 22% are caregivers for another member of the family. I agree. Drivers don't just prefer independent contractor status, right? They are not. Again, let me remind this polling company, they are not true independent They use this word IC so many times, leading you to believe that you are an IC. You are not. You tell me if in Florida or Texas you feel like you are a true independent contractor. I'll tell you, 90% will say, no, we're not a true independent contractors. We cannot set our rates. We cannot set our destinations. What we can do is choose when we wish to drive and with whom we wish to drive. That doesn't make you an IC, my friends. Right? They need the flexibility in order to continue to earn. When asked whether or not they would continue to drive if drivers are reclassified as traditional employees and would receive the benefits and protections of an employee but had to work full-time hours on a set schedule, report to a boss, and abide by other rules set by the company, 70% of drivers said they would not want to continue driving. Though drivers prefer flexibility and independent contractor status, there is still a clear need to better protect these workers. 84% of drivers wish they could retain flexibility in their schedule, I agree, but receive more benefits, like some of the benefits traditional employees receive from driving. 52% strongly agree. Important driver facts. Flexibility, freedom, and control are essential to drivers. I agree. A percentage of drivers who say each is a major reason why they drive for rideshare delivery companies. 71% say to have flexibility in my schedule. I agree. 60% say to be able to schedule my work around my family needs, health, or other work or education. I agree. 55% say to pay for my basic needs like rent or food? Probably. 51% say to be my own boss. You're not your own boss, I can tell you that. You're not an independent contractor. 51% say to control my own financial future. You don't control your financial future, they control it. So that's a big fat lie. 69% of drivers say they consider themselves a part-time driver, and only 19% say it is their only source of income. Just 34% of Uber drivers work only with Uber or Uber Eats. The remaining 66% also drive the app-based companies like Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, Instacart, or Amazon Flex. And by the way, I am going to put the link to this survey so you can read it again underneath the video. And please hit the likes. We have 47 people in the room. We have 18 likes. Let's get that up to at least 25, my friends. Allentown, Tony's in the house. Tris is in the house. Rick Nelson's in the house. Robin says, Uber has really screwed up IRS reporting versus UI reporting for quarterly 2019. Earned income earnings. I have to appeal my PUA now. Uber caused this fiasco. Hope they get their SHIT together fast. Exactly. Dan says, I debated this for over 20 years at my taxi company here. That's awesome. I won every single time. As soon as I was told I was terminated unjustly, illegally, I told them I would sue them. Then I was reinstated. Good for you, my friend. Good for standing up for yourself, Dan. Yeah! That is a true human who has value, right? Who stands for something. Thank you, Dan, for sharing. Nightjackers, what's up, Nightjackers? Haven't seen you for a while. Diego Marcelian, I hope I pronounced your name right. How are you, my friend? Hope you're well. Mohammed's in the house. Mohammed is in the house. VCS, I stopped driving for Uber when this all started, but at this is my only income. I'm going to have to start back up again. If you are in California, VCS, I highly suggest you make immediate use of the multiplier at least up to November. Mark my words. In November, mid-November, December, the multiplier is gone. You will not be able to set your own rates. And again, you will not be a true independent contractor. But people know better. People know better. They're going and saying, yes, on 22, the bill that Uber and Lyft wrote, they control it, right? They control the survey. They're paying for it. And whoever falls for that type of nonsense is not able to think outside of the box, is not able to research and really look into the facts, whether you are or you are not an independent contractor. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, if you think you are a true independent contractor, wake up and smell the coffee. Independent contractors have way, way, way more privileges than what they are currently offering you, right? Expanding options. So ICs, again, they use this word IC so loosely, who do not currently have access to traditional employment benefits, can choose benefits that work for them, is important, though this isn't the top priority for most drivers. When provided with a list of current IC and employment benefits, IC, elements that protect flexibility and freedom ranked as the most essential for drivers. That I agree with. Like freedom to reschedule, freedom to schedule hours, 73% say this is essential. And the ability to take long absences without penalty. Penalties are always there. 66% say this is essential. More traditional benefits are second-tier priorities like occupational accident insurance. 59% say is essential. Anti-discrimination and sexual harassment protection, 59% say is essential. And a benefits fund, 54% say is essential. A one-size-fits-all benefits plan will not fit drivers. The ability to choose what they need is a critical point for these workers. Right, the front is in the house, right up in the front. The front says, I know I am not truly an independent contractor, also don't want to become a full-blown employee. I am not for a fully blown employee, right? I'm absolutely not for a fully blown employee, right? But if they could come up with something that really spells out independent contractorship and abide by IC laws for all states, for all 50 states, for all international countries, then we are a step closer to our goal. Being able to set your own rates, dictating your own rates, deciding whether you want to decline or accept is a must. It is not even brought up in the survey so far, right? So they are missing massive components of independent contractor workmanship in this poll, deliberately staying away from that, right? Those who choose to drive for app-based rideshare and delivery companies are well informed, both in their decision to work as independent contractors and as future voters seeking representation to make their driver experiences better. Drivers are an educated and politically attuned group. 54% have at least a college degree and 40% regularly discuss politics with family or friends. Politically, drivers are fairly centrist. 45% considers themselves moderate, while 29% identify as liberal and 26% as conservative. Important voter facts. Sammy Sampson, that's awesome news. Mustang GT. I'm glad I left the rideshare gig. I even moved and now have a state job. That's wonderful. I'm very happy to hear that. That's awesome news. Important voter facts. An enhanced IC classification aligns with voter beliefs that the United States employment system is in need of change. Only 1 in 4 voters believe that the employment system in the United States is working well for most workers. 62% of voters agree that we need to update our employment system to accommodate the gig economy. This number jumps to 74% amongst Democrats. Americans are concerned about protections offered to gig economy workers, with just 28% saying the current system protects gig workers. The coronavirus pandemic has shone a spotlight on existing problems and inequities, mounting to widespread calls for change. 86% of voters agree that the coronavirus pandemic has exposed flaws in our employment system and shows that we need to shift how we determine what kinds of workers receive benefits. 80% of voters agree that it's not fair that we have an employment system in which some workers get benefits and protections while others don't. 75% of 75% of voters agree that the employment system is outdated and not adapted to the current workforce. Voters overwhelmingly support providing drivers with certain benefits and protections. Most 79% supporting providing occupational accident insurance and 78% support creating a benefits fund, key elements of Uber's plan for drivers. Voters, however, also understand that only options that prioritize flexibility and freedom make sense for drivers. 86% of voters agree that it is important that any changes to app-based driving and delivering protect the schedule flexibility of drivers. Voters are keeping driver needs and preferences in mind. They want to do right by these workers and understand that changes to classification would impact driver experience. So they want to listen to those with a stake in this fight. So they pretty much did a survey paid by Uber telling voters how they need to vote. That's what this is all about. That, my friends, is not a poll. It's the same as Uber and Lyft out there paying $4 per signature. They're paying the polling company to write up a poll, to write up an essay, 5 pages, to scare politicians and voters, hey, you got to back this plan. That's what this is all about. We're on 27 likes. Smash the like button, please. Tim the Maniac Miller, what's up? West Coast in the house. Maniac in the house. Sammy Sampson, have you heard from the Lyft driver advisory team members? I don't know if you remember, I used to be on that board. Yes. Didn't we once speak on the phone, Sammy? Right? Used to be on that board. That's interesting, man. You need to come on my show. Sammy, we need to bring you in on a live feed. You know, you can text me, hit me up here, and then we'll schedule something. We'd love to talk to you about that. Love to talk to you about your experiences. Awesome. Thank you for refreshing my memory, Sammy. And great car. Drives a Mustang GT, I guess. Mustang Sally! Mustang Sally! All right, so for full results of driver survey, click here. For full results of voter survey, click here. For an infographic, click here. I'm going to leave the link so you guys can check out that information. But to conclude about Benson's strategy group, and I don't think very highly of you, Benson's strategy group, from the war room to the boardroom. Benson's strategy group helps clients meet their challenges head on. Yeah, if you pay them the right price, they will write the report that favors you. No doubt about it, Benson. From competitive threats to crisis management, from rebranding to building reputation and strengthening trust, from winning campaigns to growing market share. What do I think about you? I think your poll sucks, right? Because you are loosely using the word independent contractor when the people know that they're not true independent contractors, and you're doing a very wide survey, which has absolutely nothing to do with California, right? That's where you're trying to win the vote in California. So you pretend like you cast a wide vote saying, hey, this is what all the people around the United States want for California. Why don't you ask Californians? Nothing mentioned in there. BSG, I think the word BS says it all, bullshit group. Clients include presidential candidates, international heads of state, and major issue advocacy organizations. Of course, they all pay you. We were the leading pollster for President Barack Obama during the 2008 and 2012 elections. BSG has also guided many Fortune 100 companies. About the GS strategy group, same thing. GS for me is a great load of shite. GS strategy group clients benefit from our unique combination of expertise in public opinion and consumer behavior, and our extensive knowledge of regulated industries, the political process, and public policy making. We have leveraged our research, analytical, and communication skills to devise and execute successful public policy and marketing campaigns for some of the country's leading corporations and institutions. GS, great shite strategy group. Team members have served as pollster and senior advisors in presidential, gubernatorial, and congressional campaigns across the country, including Senator John McCain, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, Illinois Senator Mark Kirk, Texas Senator John Cornyn, more recently behalf of the National Republican Congress Committee and the Congressional Leadership Fund. Well, hey, good. You got Uber's money, you got Lyft's money. Good job. You made some really good cash there. And I would just ask this group not to use the word IC so lightly, because the one thing they really need to do is understand what does a true independent contractor do, firstly. So they've completely misrepresented the true IC status in this report. If I had to give it a overall rating with what I agree and what I don't agree with, I think 75% of the content is extremely poor. 25% of this poll is somewhat convincing to me. That's just my opinion, right? Cool. So that's the number. Yeah, that is the number. And that was an invite to Sammy to set up a live stream sometime. All right, my friends, that's it. I don't want to go too long. We're on 40 minutes. I truly, truly appreciate your time. Dan N says, Uber did bait and switch here in my state. Then Attorney General stopped them. Good. And on Friday in court, I'm in court on Friday. I have all my evidence ready to go. I will show the judge how Uber conducts bait and switch in the referral world, referring or recruiting drivers. I will lay that out crystal clear for the judge so that they understand that not only they're misclassifying, not only are they not abiding AB5, but they also screwed thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of new drivers that started with Uber out of their money by offering them a guarantee when they should have paid out a bonus. Right? And I will show them how they freed up hundreds of millions of marketing dollars, shafting drivers on the back of drivers. And that's going to be my case on Friday. Buckle up, Uber. You're going to see some really, really interesting polling from my end, right? Some research. And lay it out there. Sammy, awesome. Said you texted me. Okay, did I give you the right? Yeah. And did you text? Let me see. Dan, shine on a Friday. Will do, my friend. I'm going to shine. So again, that number, I'm not sure. Just make sure you texted the right number there, Sammy. 393-6318. I hope I put the right number down, because I only see one text right now. So I'll check it out. Chris Tsaneki's in the house. If I was a true independent contractor, I would be able to set my finder's fee for the ride they offer me at 10%. This is only one thing for a true IC. Exactly. So are you a true IC? No. You are not a true independent contractor, a word so loosely used in this poll, right? I mean, you think you're dealing with a couple of educated pollsters, but I can tell you, judging by this 5-page poll, that they don't even have a single clue, or they are intentionally misrepresenting what a true independent contractor is. Thank you. I will shine on Friday, and on Friday, the gloves come out, right? The gloves buckle up. Dear attorney standing opposite me, because you are going to get a verbal avalanche of facts and exhibits and material that you're going to have to answer to. Mark my words, it's going to be fun. Thank you, and thank you again. I'm going to end the first stream over there saying thank you in the one stream to everyone in there. Cool, we ended that one. I'll do back to back.